All right, good morning. Welcome. We will get started on our backs. Okay, so um, you can start with a little bit of a stretch. So you can bring the feet together, knees wide, so that stretch to the inner thighs. Okay, or if you want something that's a little bit more relaxing before we get moving into this power yoga class, you can bring the feet a little bit wider and then bring those knees together to touch. So regardless of the position, your hands are on your stomach and on your chest. Those shoulder blades are walking together so they lay nice and flat. We'll lift through that chest and then bringing that low back flat on the mat so the core is nice and engaged. You just start to breathe in and out through the nose. Take that big breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Just continuing that breath on your own, feeling that rise and fall of the belly, of the chest. And then let's start to bring those knees together. Just hug the knees into the chest. Just give it a little rock from side to side. Then bring it still. We'll round that spine, bring the forehead to the knees. And we'll extend the legs out, extend those arms out. Now, if you need to, lower the feet down, lower those arms down. Just keep that big reach. Try and pull that low back down towards the mat. And if you want a little bit more intense, just looking through the legs and through the shoulders. Good. Curling in, round through that spine. Inhale, reach it out long. Exhale, curl it in. Inhale, extend it out long. Last time, curl in and reach. Let's hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower those feet down, arms by your sides, bridging those hips up. So scooping that tailbone up, core tight. One more breath. And roll it back down. Let's do that 2 more times. Press those feet, lift the hips. So I feel like you're rolling it up 1 vertebrae at a time and then rolling it down 1 vertebrae at a time. And last one, lift. And roll it back down. Let's go ahead and windshield wiper those knees from side to side. Let's go 1 more time each way. And bring it back to center. Hug those knees in. Little rock from side to side. And now let's go forward and back. Let's get some momentum here. We're going to plant those feet and we're going to come right into that forward fold. So maybe in that squat position first and just straighten those legs out as we fold. Give it a little sway from side to side. And then we'll bring a slight bend into those knees, rising up to standing, reaching those arms up nice and tall. Let's interlace those fingers, side bend over to the right. Inhale it back up. Exhale it over to the left. Inhale, reach it back up. Let's draw those elbows down into that field goal position. Inhale it back up. Let's do it 2 more times. Pull the elbows down. Inhale it up. Last time, squeeze the elbows down. Inhale, reach it back up. And then with that nice flat back, we'll fold. Find that flat back on that inhale. And exhale, we'll plant those hands down, stepping those feet back to our plank. Let's add in a push-up so you can lower those knees down on the stairs if you need to. Lower shoulders, high to the elbows. Press it back up. And then we'll lower down, moving into that vinyasa. So maybe lifting up into that cobra or into that upward facing dog. And exhaling those hips to the sky, down dog. And inhale on the toes. Bend those knees, step those feet top of the mat. Half lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to standing. Interlace those fingers. Side bend to the right. Inhale it up to the left. Inhale, reach it back up. Pull the elbows down. Just go 1 time, field goal. Inhale it back up. Exhale, flat back fold. Half lift on that inhale. And exhale, plant those hands, step those feet back to our plank. Shift that weight forward. One push up. And then vinyasa. Exhaling it, down dog. And come onto the toes. Bend those knees, step or hop those feet top the mat. Half lift. Then exhale, fold. Inhale, we'll rise to standing. Interlace the fingers, side bend to the right. Inhale it up. Side bend to the left. Inhale it up. Elbows fold down. Inhale it back up. Flat back as we fold. Half lift, inhale. Exhale, plant the hands. Step or hop it back right into that push-up. And vinyasa. And exhaling the hips to the sky, down dog. Okay, now let's inhale on those toes. Bend those knees, step or hop those feet into that squat stance. So toes out, heels in, sinking those hips down, hands come to heart center. Okay, pressing those knees out, maybe drop those hips a little lower. Now keep pressing the knees out. We're gonna rise on up. We're gonna come up onto those toes, finding that balance, keeping everything nice and tight. Ankles are pulling in towards that midline of the body. And then heels will lower down, sink it back into that squat. Press, rise on up out of it. And then lower the heels back to that squat. Last time, press and lift up high onto those toes. Lower the heels down, feet parallel as we fold. Flatten out that back. And then plant those hands, step or hop it back. One push up and vinyasa. Exhaling hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Bring the feet together. Inhale that right leg up. Exhale. Open up that hip as we bend that top knee. Then we'll keep that knee a little bit more open as we bring it to that right elbow. Inhale it back up, square those hips off. Bringing that knee towards that left elbow. Inhale, bring it back up and curl that knee to the nose. Stepping that foot through. Back heel grounds down. Inhale, rise up, warrior one. One more breath. Bend that front knee a little more. Pressing into that back heel. And then arms down, interlace the fingers. Open through that chest. Pause. And then start to hover the chest as we fold. Release those hands. Rise back up into that warrior one. And lower the hands down. Send it back. Maybe that three-legged plank. Let's add in push up again. And then vinyasa. Exhaling hips to the sky, down dog. Feet together, inhaling. That left leg lifts. Open up that hip, bend that top knee. We'll bring that left knee towards that left elbow. Inhale it back up. Exhale that knee across to the right elbow. Inhale, bring it back up. And exhale, curl that knee to the nose. Stepping that foot through. Back heel grounds down. Inhaling those arms up. And pull those elbows down. Interlace those fingers. Open up that chest. And fold. And release the hands. Rise back up into that warrior one. Hands lower down. Send it back. Three-legged plank. And down. Lower the feet as we lift the chest. And then hips up. Down dog. And now inhale on the toes. Bend the knees. Step or hop those feet behind the hands. Toes out, heels in. Sink the hips down into that squat. Keep pressing the knees out as we rise up, lifting up onto those toes. Heels down, sneak into that squat. Press up, lift. Down, and sink into the squat. Press back up. And then lower back down into that squat. This time we'll hold it here. Really press the knees out, nice flat back. And for 3, 2, and 1. Straighten the legs as we fold. And now let's plant the hands, step or hop it back, push up. Vinyasa. Hips to the sky, down dog. Feet together. Inhale, that right leg lifts. Right knee to the right elbow. Inhale it back up. Exhale it to the left elbow. Now from here, we can extend that leg up. Drop that left heel down as that left arm reaches up. Lower that hand down, send that leg back up. Curl that knee to the nose, step that foot through. Back heel lowers, inhaling those arms up. Elbows draw down, interlace the fingers. Open up that chest and fold. Inhale, release, rise back up. Now from here, we'll go into our half split. So lower the hands down, lifting that left leg up. Squaring off those hips a little more, lengthen through that spine. Exhale, full, walking those hands back to the ankle. Maybe one hand grabs on, maybe both hands grab onto that ankle. And then take a big step back into that warrior two. Relax those shoulders, reach through those fingertips. One more breath. And we'll lower that four as we extend that left arm up and over. If you want to bring this hand down towards the ground, you have that option as well. And we'll spin that hand down, step back to three-legged plank, push up, and vinyasa. Exhaling, hips to the sky, down dog. Feet together, inhaling that left leg up. Bring that left knee to that left elbow. Inhale it up. Exhale that knee across. Extend that leg into that side plank, variation on side plank. And then lower that hand down, send that leg back up, curl that knee to the nose, stepping that foot through, back heel down, inhale, rise up, warrior one. And then arms down, interlace the fingers, open that chest, and fold. Release those hands, rise back up. Then we'll lower those hands down as we come into that half splits. Lengthen through that spine. And then full, walking those hands back, trying to lift through that right leg a little bit more. Working that balance. So maybe one hand reaches for the ankle. Maybe both hands reach for that ankle. And then we'll take that big step back into that warrior two. Hold it here. Then we'll lower that forearm. Right arm will reach up and over. And again, if you want to slide that hand down a little bit lower, you have that option. And we'll rotate that hand down, step it back to our three-legged plank push-up and vinyasa. Exhaling those hips to the sky, downward facing dog. One more breath in down dog. Okay, now let's inhale on the toes. Bend those knees. Let's hop those feet into that squat stance. Sinking those hips down. That chest is lifted. Hands are coming to heart center. And so wherever that lowest position is in that squat, I want you to come up a little bit higher, a little more active through those legs. Let's go one more breath. Now, if you want to stay here, you can. If you want to work on that crow pose, we're going to lower those hands down to the mat. So spread the fingers out. I keep my pinky finger right on that edge of the mat and then spread those fingers out as much as I can so I get that really solid and wide base of support. Now from here, I'm going to hook my knees up to my elbows. So I'm going to lift high onto those heels, bring those knees up as high as you can get them. Start to shift that weight forward. And then lengthening through that spine, start to float those feet up. Maybe we just tap those feet, with a little bit more weight in through those hands. Another couple breaths if you have it, or maybe just stay in that squat. And then when you're ready, maybe you step it back to our plank, add in that push-up, and then vinyasa. Hips back to those heels. into that child's pose. Give it a little rest here. And then let's come back onto hands and knees. So we want to stack those knees underneath the hips. We're just sliding those hands forward. We're coming to that puppy pose. So big stretch through those shoulders, press into the palms, pull those forearms towards each other. And then we'll soften that forehead down towards the mat. And then we'll lower onto those forearms, sliding it forward into our plank, our forearm plank. Feet come a little bit wider. And then we're going to do those twists. So drop the heels to the right, arms are staying down. To the left, center, to the right, center, left, and right, and left, and right, and left, and center. Lower those hips down. You can rest that chin down. Bring those arms down by your sides. Now, with those fingertips reaching back, we're going to roll those shoulders down and back. Lift that chest. Lift those legs up, tucking that chin slightly. Good. Breathing, lifting a little bit higher. And a little higher. A little bit higher. And then we'll rest those hands down. Send it back into our child's pose. Now with that big back extension, you maybe bring those knees a little bit closer together, get a little bit more rounding through that spine if that feels good, or if you really want to just keep going with this back extension, keep those knees a little bit wider, and then rest the head down, resting, or kind of an active relaxation. I know that doesn't make sense, but trying to relax, but trying to at the same time pulling that chest down towards the mat, so that big opening through the upper back. Now from here, let's come into a seat. We're gonna bring those feet out super wide, starting with that wide leg fold. So you take your time adjusting. You might want to set the hips off of the mat a little bit more, so the heels can be on the mat if you're on a harder surface, but if you're on carpet, it may not matter too much. Sit nice and tall, walking those hands forward, feeling that stretch to the hamstrings through those inner thighs. Keep flexing the feet, slight bend in those knees, pulling those feet back. So you're going to activate your glutes, your butt to do that. Now keep lifting. Instead of rounding through the spine, I think we're rolling over those sit bones, those hips, okay, to get that stretch. It's going to feel better on your back, and you're going to get a way bigger stretch through those inner thighs. I think about flexing those outer hips, those glutes a little bit more as we fold, teeny bit more. You stay really active with it. So get to that point where you think that that's all the further you can go. Think lifting to the chest, flex those glutes, hold it there, breathe, and then maybe you can bring it forward a little bit more. Bring it back up. Let's bring those legs together. So you can do this facing that other way, but it's up to you. Plant those feet down. I like to do my fingers kind of pointed back a little bit more on this one. So almost like they're turned back and then out towards the outside edges of my mat. Now from here, roll the shoulders down and back, lifting through that chest, and then press into those feet, lifting those hips up. Now, if you want to look up towards the sky or the ceiling, if that feels okay on the shoulders, on the neck, you can. One more breath, keep lifting through those hips. And slowly roll it on down. Let's extend those arms and legs forward. Point the toes, squeeze those legs together. Let's roll it down. 4, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Big reach from the fingertips down through those toes. And then hug those knees into the chest. Now we'll lift those knees so they're stacked right over the hips. Shins are parallel to the ground. Tee up those arms. So I like to lift my hips up and then bring them over to that left side of the mat. Then I drop my knees over to the right side of the mat. So that keeps my spine nice and straight in the middle of the mat. And then we'll bring those knees back to center. Those hips over to that right side of the mat. Use your feet if you need to. And then drop those knees over to that left side. Come back to center and hug those knees in. Let's reach those arms overhead, that full body stretch from the fingertips all the way down through those toes. And then hug the knees in, roll it up to that seat. Sitting nice and tall, legs will cross, hands are resting on the knees. Roll the shoulders down and back, sitting tall. Finding that breath. And we'll leave those eyes open. All right, thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great day. How about that? And I'll see you all back here for yoga on Saturday. We do have a recharge tomorrow and then yoga on Saturday. All right, have a